When I say social selling, people get confused and they think go to LinkedIn and start selling people and start pitching people. Yeah. Again, social selling is just a buzzword. It really is the marriage between sales, marketing, and personal branding. I'm communicating in my tone. So no, there is no perfect secret hack. There's never no secret hack. You have to start, stay consistent, and then adjust as you go along and continue to refine. So your content play is not an overnight sales play. Well, the new era of cold calling is using those touch points, but all within social media platforms. So if I leave a voice message for someone on LinkedIn, then they're getting me, my voice, my personality, and it's custom, it's unique, stands out.
And that's next on Bootstrapping Your Dreams show. So, the big question is this: how are ambitious people like us, who don't have a lot of resources, did not go to Ivy League colleges, were not born into wealth, how do we become resourceful enough, use our creativity, our dedication, and a little bit of crazy to bootstrap our way to realizing our dreams? Whether it is launching a new company, launching a new app, or making it to the top of the corporate ladder. That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Hey listeners and viewers, we have created a tremendous community of bootstrappers, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are ambitious, resourceful, and want to get things done. We brainstorm, support, and help each other out. Come join us. Navigate to bootstrapping.group. That is bootstrapping.group. If you like this video, do not forget to hit that like button now. Or if you want us to improve our content, go ahead and hit the thumbs down button and give us your feedback in the comment section below. Here at Tetranoodle, we are passionate about entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. Every week, we bring you insightful and engaging interviews, tips, tricks, and strategies to help you grow your business or rise in your corporate profession. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And do not forget to hit that bell icon so that you are notified when we publish new content. Hello and welcome to this new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams show. I'm your host Manuj Aggarwal, and today we will be talking with Conor Dube. Conor is the founder of the Mile High Mentors podcast and partner at Active Blogs, an industry leader in LinkedIn social selling and content marketing for highly complex industries. Conor founded his first business at 7 years of age, developed an 8-figure marketing department while working his way through college, and has continued to build his brand around B2B sales and marketing ever since. Welcome, Conor.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me. It's good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, same here. Well, you're an early starter and you started your business at 7. So tell us about that. Like, how did that happen?
Talk about bootstrapping a business. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with two parents that were in real estate for years. My dad was franchising Remax offices. My mom's been in mortgages and real estate, and those real estate peoples are pretty entrepreneurial, and you get that energy going. So I was always very fascinated by entrepreneurship at an early age, and at the age of 7, it was 2001, and the Twin Towers hit. You know, Hopefully you remember that. Hopefully most people remember that day. And I wanted to find a way to give back. And so I stole rocks from my neighbor's yard and I painted them with patriotic symbols. And I went to a motorcycle rally convention and I actually sold them and I donated all the funds that we raised from that effort. So yeah, it was my first dive into entrepreneurship pretty early on in sales and marketing. I've been passionate about sales and marketing ever since.
That's great, and noble cause for sure. So let's talk about marketing, and you are specializing in content marketing, B2B marketing. So how do these aspects of marketing combine together? Like B2B marketing is something that people do not understand very well. So can you shed some light on that? How does this work, and how is it different than B2C marketing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple questions in there. So B2B is different in that business to business is you're selling to other businesses, consumer, you're selling to other consumers. You're selling to, like, I would sell, a product to you directly, and that would be a consumer sale. I heard you do another podcast. You used to do Amazon sales, right? Was that right? Amazon or drop shipping or something along the lines of that?
No. I didn't do it, but that may be somebody else. But
maybe a guest. Anyways, that's consumer. In business to business, instead of selling to one person, you're selling to teams of people. You're selling generally, to the enterprise. And although people make the mistake of thinking, although it's business to business, it's human to human, and it's much more human to human than consumer, actually, because it requires that relationship building process, that nurturing process, really feeling comfortable with each other, because generally a B2B sale, for the most part, not all the time, but generally they're much more long-term relationships. So just to give a little bit of background, because again, there's a lot of different marketers out there. There's a lot of people in, marketing, like everyone and their mom has a marketing agency now. And so my contextual understanding of B2B marketing is different from others because of my experience and kind of where our organization has come from, which, by the way, we're a family business. So I'm a partner in that particular company. Mile High Mentors is my own company. Active Blogs, I'm in partnership with my own father, believe it or not, and we've been partnered up in that company. So he was a very early innovator in what was called content marketing, which it's the marketing buzzword, because all marketing is technically has content in it. But by content, did a lot of company newsletters, a lot of blogging, anything that was like really written custom content for these really highly complex industries. And so that was what the business has been built on over the years. And, my dad came from doing newsletter consulting to like building that, and has built a business that's done millions and millions of dollars in residual income over the years. Now me, and what's led us to where we are and why we're industry leaders in the space we're in now, is I started when I was in college. I did door-to-door sales for 2.5 years as I was working my way through college. I've done another array of, odd sales jobs and stuff like that. But, door-to-door sales, I did that in a space, most people don't last 2.5 weeks doing door-to-door sales.
For sure.
It's not easy. It's kind of scary. But I did that for 2.5 years, eventually went on to grow in that company to manage a team of 25 people. And I helped take that department from 4 million to 11 million in a year and a half.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting is this entire company I saw grow from about $13 million when I first came in to $72 million when I left the organization 4.5 years later. Mm-hmm. And something interesting that I kind of picked up on is, of course, I'm a younger millennial. So I grew up with technology, grew up with social media. It's very intuitive to me. Mm-hmm. But with this company, they're doing a lot of traditional stuff. They, the door-to-door sales side, I go to somebody's door and they're just so happy I'm there, because people just love when they're trying to cook dinner for their kids and you're, banging on their door, just smiling. And so I'd show up at somebody's doorstep and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you guys are here again? Like, for real? You just had a guy out here last week." And I was at the Home and Garden show, by the way, and I saw you're doing some raffle at the Home and Garden show, and I got one of your flyers in my mailbox, and I got an email from you guys this morning too. And isn't that your damn commercial on television right now? I'm like, "Yes, sir, it is." He's like, "All right, I get it. Sign me up. Let's do it." And I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy." Like, this guy saw us, probably 10, 15, 20 times before he decided to buy from us. Now, this was consumer sales. I was selling windows at the time.
I see.
And so I saw this big expansion, this growth in what was called omnipresence, right? Being in all places That's what this company did so damn successfully. And that's why they grew so aggressively. And so, when I graduated college, paying my way through college, earning my marketing degree, I was either going to go straight into entrepreneurship because I didn't want to work for anybody. I'd drive people crazy if I had to do that. Or it was just natural to go in and partner up with my dad in his business because I was already very passionate about sales, very passionate about marketing, and it fell right in line with what, he has done over the years. Mm-hmm. So I took my understanding of omnipresence and, what I learned in this very consumer-driven market and what he's done traditionally with the content side, and I married them together and built it into our business in under the genre of what's now coined social selling. And so that's our fastest growing side of the business is we, help our clients with social selling, either done for you, coaching, training, or a combination of all of the above.
Cool. And now what kind of content do you produce? Like when you say social selling, is it more geared towards LinkedIn or is it more on all other social media channels? So what is your focus right now?
It's 100% geared towards, I help our clients to contextually understand how other social channels play a role. But mostly 100% focused on LinkedIn because for our clients that sell very complex, high dollar, long sales cycles, involve products and services, LinkedIn is the avenue for it. Mm-hmm. Now here's the difference. And this is probably what separated my thing, like what I talk about and rant and rave about compared to any other marketer out there, or anyone who's talking about social selling, is these traditional businesses have been built for years with traditional methods of marketing. So cold calling, spending 6-7 figures on trade shows, conferences, email marketing, SEO, pay-per-click, inbound marketing through content, the traditional stuff that we still sell. Mm-hmm. And going in there, a lot of social media people like me are going to these companies and saying, let's do social media or die, right? If you don't adopt social media, your company's going to, go under. And I'm coming in and I'm saying, look, guys, cold calling is not dead. Neither is email marketing. Neither are all of these traditional methods. Marketing has not changed. Sales have not changed in the last 100 years. Marketing has not changed in the last 100 years. The only thing that's changed is the buyer has changed. They're doing more research than ever before. We're constantly distracted. We got our cell phones in our face 24/7. There's so much noise out there that we have to show up and have that omnipresence, right? It goes back to that omnipresence I talked about. So LinkedIn simply just provides a way to close the gap on your omnipresence with all of your other sales and marketing activities.
Mm-hmm. I see. And, obviously LinkedIn has evolved over the years. I joined LinkedIn, I think way back in 2005, 2006. Back then it was more like, just post your resume kind of thing online and people can find you. How has it evolved over the years, especially right now? I see a lot of people sort of focused on LinkedIn. What has changed?
I don't know so much that LinkedIn has changed, but maybe people's perception of LinkedIn has changed more. They've added more empowerment in the sales and marketing arena, but look at things like paid ads. I don't start my clients on paid ads on LinkedIn because they are damn expensive and not near as targeted as what you can do organically, human to human. It's more that people's understanding have changed, and you hit the nail on the head. Like people had looked at it as a recruiting platform, business networking, and still, I talked to CMOs who have been at the game for 20 years and they have no contextual understanding of what LinkedIn provides and how to actually take advantage of it. Excuse me. Now, some things is as technology has changed, LinkedIn has provided better ways to stand out and break through the noise. So for example, if I'm prospecting, And you've probably experienced this. Someone connects with you on LinkedIn and they send you like a really shitty sales pitch like 2 seconds later that's like 5 paragraphs long.
Yeah.
And it's all about them. Well, I can really break through by using native video, audio, pictures. Like I don't even send text messages to prospects on LinkedIn anymore. I either send an audio voice message or I send a video, or I ain't sending shit, because I'm not going to like risk spending the energy on it and like looking like everybody else out there who's, using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's added more tools. They're adopting, Microsoft purchased them a couple years ago. That means they're only going to continue to expand. Their goal is to get all working professionals using LinkedIn. They're at 650 million users. There's 3 billion professionals on planet Earth, which means that if you really start looking at the platform the right way, then the opportunity to bootstrap and grow your business without any budget, zero marketing budget, zero sales budget, zero marketing budget. I can minimally grow. I can grow a 6-7 figure company just from you putting the right pieces in place on LinkedIn.
Awesome. That's great. So people who are not initiated in LinkedIn and do not know, as you put it, like a lot of experienced CMOs, they do not know about LinkedIn. How will you recommend they get started? Like, obviously without sharing your trade secrets or anything, what can you share as advice for people who are new to LinkedIn, or they may have been on the platform, but they don't know how to utilize it properly?
Yeah, it's not necessarily about getting started. It's about stop doing the things wrong and eliminate the things that you're already doing wrong. So number one, stop putting so much emphasis on your company page. Start looking, because again, high dollar complex B2B sales are relationship driven. Mm-hmm. So your personal brand and personal brands within your organization have to be the vehicle. See, when I say social selling, people get confused and they think go to LinkedIn and start selling people and start pitching people. Yeah. Again, social selling is just a buzzword. It really is the marriage between sales, marketing, and personal branding. LinkedIn is just, social channels are just the deployment vehicle for that. But places to get started is like people need to start building their personal brand. Now I don't care. Like I give all my secret sauce away for free. It's just whether or not you're willing to take action on it. So there's really 4 key components that you have to have in place to make this work. And, first off, there's so much noise out there, right? A lot of your listeners are kind of like mid-sized entrepreneurs, right? Startups, mid-sized entrepreneurs. Is that?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So some of you may be operating with like zero budget, or you may have a significant budget, but either way, I truly believe the most successful companies of the future are all going to be experts and specialists, not generalists. Because although I used to be able to start a marketing agency or start a software development company or application development or a SaaS or IT company and be everything to everybody, now your buyer has access to everything. So they're researching, and who are they going to want to talk to? They're going to want to talk to an expert, not a generalist. So number one is messaging. You have to have the right messaging on your social media brands, on your personal brands. Messaging creates meaning for your buyers, not job seekers. Yeah. So I would say like the number one starting place is in your LinkedIn profile. There's about 10 key points there to turn it much more into almost like a micro website or an extension of your company's brand through the personal brand, by using prime real estate there to talk much more about what I can do, how I can help people, and what the end result of it is. Because people don't give a shit about your job title, and they don't give a shit about what you sell. They care about the impact of what you sell. That's all that matters. So you have all this real estate on your social media profiles to do that. And then you want to get your team to consistently like get that messaging. If you have 10 people on your team, then any one client, business development facing, build out their personal brands that way. Messaging creates meaning. Number 2 is engagement. And that's the thing, is like you have to engage. And what most people use LinkedIn for is to, pull up their prospects, and then they go spam out a bunch of shitty connection requests with sales pitches in them. And then they lose the ear of the person who would have been a really good opportunity maybe 6 months down the road.
Yeah.
So there's all these amazing touch points. Like one of my favorite features of LinkedIn that is unique to any other social media platform is profile viewing. Mm-hmm. If I go and look at your profile, LinkedIn notifies you, they email you, and they're basically trying to get your attention because they want you addicted and hooked into their platform. And every time you're doing those engagements, those touch points, I follow someone, I engage with their content, I comment on their posts, I find them in a group, I connect with them because they're connected with an existing client of mine, and I use that referral. So there's a difference there between spamming connections and using referral connections. All those things, every time I'm doing these engagement pieces, that's bringing eyeballs to my messaging and then back to my company's brand. Mm-hmm. So messaging creates meaning. Engagement drives the eyeballs to your messaging, and then content content creates context. Mm-hmm. So if I'm using my LinkedIn profile as a way to showcase my unique differentiator from competitors, and I'm like being very focused there, and I'm talking much more to the end result, content is there to create the context of all the other areas that I can help what we do, why we're so cool, why our brand's so innovative and like and sexy. Content is meant for that. But again, people who even know this do this wrong because they take their blog posts. Man, you got me on a rant here. I'm just gonna keep spitting.
No, that's good. That's good.
Good. So what most people do wrong is they take a bunch of links, or they try to automate this process, right? We're stuck in this era of trying to automate everything, and we don't end up getting anything done that's actually having an impact. So if I take my company's blog and I just share it into my newsfeed, or I have Hootsuite or Feedly or something that's just like auto posting content, well, guys, LinkedIn doesn't want you to leave their damn platform. They want you to stay on their social media platform. Mm-hmm. So native content, video crushes it, written articles directly on your LinkedIn profile in the form of publications do amazing to drive traffic to your profile. LinkedIn's the world's largest B2B blog, but that doesn't mean spamming your blog out. It means natively using what's organically already on the platform. Mm-hmm. And then consistency. Consistency closes sales.
Awesome. That's great. And then one thing you mentioned, which is quite important in my opinion, is engagement. So how can you raise engagement? Like, there's a science behind it as well. Like, not only you need to get engagement on your posts, on your content, but it's encouraged that you need to engage with other content pieces as well for other profiles. Is that correct, or is that not too important?
Well, in my definition, the category of engagement doesn't just fall under engaging with people's content, because content alone, like, you're not going to grow your sales just by. I know influencers who have asked me for help because they're getting 10, 20, 30,000 views on their posts, and they're not getting any sales from LinkedIn, right? Like, if it's not driving sales, why are you doing it? Brand is cool, influence is cool, helping people is great, but can you really help more people if you're not profiting in your business? Mm-hmm. So I mean, more engagement, like, there's all these different hacks and tricks to get more engagement on your content, but I'm telling you right now, I would much rather have less engagement on my content that's highly targeted with the people who are actually paying attention to me, and they may be silently consuming my stuff, but they're seeing me show up and I'm educating them, than I would lots of engagement that's vapid, because I can tell you how to make a post go viral. It's easy. Like go look at posts that are viral on LinkedIn. It's freaking easy to make your post go viral. But is your content actually creating context for your business and your audience? Okay. So stop. And that's another thing. People get too hung up on likes and comments. Like I'll do one post that just like blows up, and I'll do another that gets one like on it, but still gets 400 views. Because some people are just lurkers, but those people are my clients, and they end up, and same with you, your clients are just silently observing you. Right. Hopefully I answered your question. Okay. Cause
I'll take it a little bit further. So when you say context, just so that, we can unfold this, are you saying we need to provide value? We need to provide advice in terms of addressing the target audience that is going to be your future client, or is the context something else?
Play the 80-20 rule. 80% of content you're putting out should be educational, entertaining, or storytelling. That's about 80% of your content. I lean a lot on educational. Like you probably see me, like I'll just drop in front of my whiteboard and I'll just drop 10 minutes of content. And it's just like, there's no sales pitch in it. It's just giving. Like I said, I give everyone my secret sauce because it's about the ones that take action on it. That's where people struggle. Consistency. But 80-20. So like 20% is the action taking. Hey, LinkedIn audience, you've been seeing me show up for a little while now. We have this webinar that we're doing that is, bing, 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 and bing, register here. And that's all the post is geared towards. Or, hey, I have this $20 ebook, buy my ebook. Like that's sales content, but people lean too heavily one way or the other. So 80-20 rule applies perfectly to that when you're trying to decide like, what do I do? Like, how should I be using my content strategy on social?
I see. And what should be the style and tone? Is there any guidance around that?
What do you mean by style and tone?
Like, a lot of people say, write short sentences. It needs to be sort of a copywriting style, conversational style. So do you have any preference? Do you have any guidance around that?
Yeah, use your voice, like use your organic voice. I mean, if you go read my posts, like I have an entire team of copy editors on my team. And sometimes I just write a post and put it out, and then they'll come back to me and say, hey dude, you got all these grammar errors and stuff in there. But it works because it's my voice. Like I'm communicating in my tone. So no, there is no perfect secret hack. There's never no secret hack. You have to start, stay consistent, and then adjust as you go along and continue to refine so that, you're in business for the long term, hopefully. And so your content play is not an overnight sales play. Now the direct messaging side, like prospecting, that's different. That's a direct, like getting sales conversations started. Your content's going to be long term. You're not going to all of a sudden, like, this is why people stop posting and they get hung up on likes and comments. Is it takes time to build up, guys. I've been at this for a few years now, and I'm still just like on the early cusp of where I'm going with this.
I see. And you mentioned consistency. So in your opinion, how often one should share content or post content?
Yeah, I mean, I've found through all of our client testing, the magic number on LinkedIn is one post a day, because the way LinkedIn's feed works is it cycles through the audience within a 24-hour period. So if I post in the morning and then I post at night, it gets buried. Now, if if I have look at the people with like millions of followers, like they can post any time of day and their stuff's going to pop. Yeah. But most of you are not. You are what I would consider a micro influencer, which means you have the ability to influence the decision or the thought process of one person. So when you're putting your content out, stop thinking about the virality in the masses. Think about the one person that you can impact that day with it. And it's just one post a day. So, if you can stay consistent with one a day, that's good. But you have to stay consistent with the other things, connecting with enough people, growing your audience. Your audience isn't going to magically grow from content alone unless you have something that pops and goes viral. Or like I was interviewed on Brian Burns' podcast, Brutal Truth About Sales and Selling. All of a sudden I had like 150 people reach out to me and connect on LinkedIn. But that's not consistent. I have to keep doing, all the other pieces in the background. Content is just one of all the other components that go into place with that.
Great. And you mentioned, obviously don't do things like send a connection request and pitch them immediately. Is there any other mistake that you have noticed people make in terms of content itself when they post content?
Yeah, I mean, content, people like spam posts, talk about their services and posts, unless it's prompted, then do it. But it's kind of grody when you're doing that. Failures that people are doing, they're letting like their other people's perception of them to hold back, putting themselves out there or putting content out there. I can't tell you the number of messages I get every week. Like, hey, Conor, I see you do a lot of videos. I want to do this forever. But I just don't know where to get started. I'm like, just get started. Like, they're like, hey, Conor, I want to do videos, but I'm hung up on like, what do I post or how do I edit them? I'm like, I use my iPhone and I use iMovie to do 99% of like all my content. So all the tools are there. I think you just got to set your ego aside is probably the biggest mistake people make. Is there too much of their ego? They think they're going to like, all of a sudden sales are going to magically start coming to them on LinkedIn. There is a time and place. Like, don't get me wrong. LinkedIn is there for business. That's why it's such a great platform. Like, business is the contextual reason to be using LinkedIn and educating yourself on industries. But it's okay to pitch people, but there's a difference between a value pitch and just there's no context. Someone connects with you and you just like shove a sales offer in their face within 5 minutes. That's probably the number one mistake that I'm really trying to get people to shift away from. And, cold calling works because you can get someone on the phone and they can hear your voice and there's like exchange there. Well, the new era of cold calling is using those touch points, but all within social media platforms. So if I leave a voice message for someone on LinkedIn, then they're getting me, my voice, my personality, and it's custom, it's unique, stands out. And then they're also seeing my messaging on my profile, which creates meaning. And then they're seeing my content show up. And then they're seeing like all the other pieces that go into place. So, I would say that's, again, just to keep circling around it, like that's the number one mistake is like just how people are interacting with one another on LinkedIn because they don't understand it.
Yeah. Cool. That's great. Now, speaking of mistakes, have you made any mistakes in building your business and growing your business? And can you share some, what kind of experience did you have?
Every day, man, every day. Sorry, finish your question. I saw your...
No. I mean, it was, everybody make mistakes. And as you said, there are mistakes that happen every day. Some of them are prominent enough that they teach us an important lesson. So I always try to ask my guests, what are some of the key mistakes you made and some of the key lessons you learned? So if you can share a few, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of my early mistakes with like LinkedIn, for example, is I perceived it similarly to everybody else. Another key mistake is I got far too hung up on other people that were way more ahead of where I am. And that's frustrating because you feel like you're behind and then you don't take action on the things that are going to impact you. You're too busy focusing on other people. Yeah. And there's all these like influencers and all this stuff on LinkedIn again. So that's where I just always try to bring myself back to, okay, well, I'm putting this piece out, like I'm putting my energy out. Forget the masses. It's only about that one single person. Right. And then I would say the very last mistake that's still a challenge for anyone and everyone is, again, at the end of the day, And I've learned this through mentors of mine. Which, I have a mentor, his name is JV Crum III. He hosts a podcast called The Conscious Millionaire, 12 million regular listeners. He lives here in Denver, good friend of mine. And something that I've really, learned is that you can't, it's okay to be selfish in your business in a way that you need to profit in your business to actually impact people. If I'm a good person, then I can do more good with a $100 million company than I can with a $100,000 a year company, because I can give back more. I can bring more people on. I can employ more resources, and I can, again, just give back more. I can't empower more people without that. So that goes back to every time I get stuck is I'm never prospecting enough. And I think this is people's hardest hang up, is they're not setting an intentional, this is where consistency comes in. Every single day, they're not setting an intentional amount of time every day, whether it's 20 minutes or at least an hour. I would say an hour dedicated to prospecting is a good starting place. Then, sales lag, any prospecting I didn't do 90 days ago affects my sales 90 days now. That's the B2B, sales cycle. And so, that's another massive mistake I've made over the years, is just not prospecting heavily enough. And when I do, then it goes in dips and flows, and I'm not consistent with it. And that's always impacted our business. And that's how most businesses go out of business.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. Now, this has been very enlightening conversation about LinkedIn. Thanks a lot for sharing your secret sauce, as you put it. Now, before I let you go, can you share your company website? How can people reach out and take advantage of the services that you provide?
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I would say I don't normally give this out on podcasts, but I'll do it for your audience here because I think it'd be pretty important. If there's one resource that you want to start off with, we have a completely free webinar training that gives you, those 4 components that I went over as a starting place. We've broken those down further into more granular steps. So if you want to learn about those and find out how to implement those, whether you're a one-person operation, you're just getting started, or you're a $100 million company with lots of resources and you want to expand to 150, go to activeblogs.com/webinar. So again, I'll just say one more time, activeblogs.com/webinar. And it's a free training. It's called the Missing Links to LinkedIn Success. And then if you want to find me, I'm on all social media platforms, but especially LinkedIn. Come connect with me on LinkedIn. It's at Conor Dube, CONNOR DUBE, which is fitting because I'm in Colorado. So, maybe I'm in the wrong business.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And once again, it's been a very, very interesting and enlightening conversation. Thank you.
Same here. Appreciate you.
And that's all for now. Until next time. And if you're an existing or an aspiring tech entrepreneur, then I invite you to check out my new online workshop, Bootstrapping Your Tech Startup Dreams. Go to bootstraptechstartup.com and sign up for free. I want to make sure that more successful and sound decisions are made every day in your tech projects. Let's start finding solutions to your problems. So go to bootstraptechstartup.com and I look forward to helping you with your tech projects. If you want more engaging videos and insightful interviews with industry's thought leaders, then check out other videos we have picked for you. The link is right there. And if you want to be notified about our new content, please do consider subscribing to our channel.